So you're probably like, does my business really need a lawyer? That seems serious. That seems expensive. That seems intimidating. I don't know. Does your business really need a lawyer yet? Well, that's what today's video is all about. In today's video, we're tackling whether you really need a lawyer, what you really need to do first, and how much this stuff is really going to cost. Like, what do you need to do now versus what can wait and what can you do later? I can't wait to chat with you in today's video. If you're new here, I'm Vander Wielen. I'm an attorney turned entrepreneur who helps online coaches, course creators, and service providers learn how to legally protect and grow their online business using my DIY legal templates, my ultimate bundle program, and trainings here each week on YouTube. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel if you want to see all of my videos each week about how to legally protect and grow your online business. Okay, so there are times when you absolutely positively need a lawyer. Like, do not walk, do not run, sprint and go get a lawyer. So I think it is absolutely crucial that you have a lawyer. First and foremost, if you are doing any sort of fundraising, getting investments, raising capital for your business, if you have that kind of business, you definitely need a lawyer. If you're going into business with other people, even if you're related to them, married to them, live with them, are best friends with them, and couldn't possibly ever imagine something going terribly wrong, go to a lawyer. You need a lawyer, they need a lawyer, and your business needs a lawyer. It's actually 3 lawyers, count them up. You also want to get a lawyer if you are entering into a very tricky or highly regulated area like marijuana, medical marijuana, crypto, other stuff that's on the rise, anything like that. You definitely want to chat with a lawyer, because not only about actually setting up your business, but making sure that whatever you're doing is legal. I always recommend going to a lawyer too if you are performing any sort of hands-on in-person services. So if you're a nurse, if you're a physical therapist and you want to start an in-person physical therapy office, I would definitely go to an attorney, because there are all sorts of regulations for your state, but also a couple of additional legal documents that I would want you to get in place. Okay, but on the flip side, if you don't mean any of those things, you're not raising money, you're not working in the crypto space, and you're not putting your hands on people in person, then you're not off the hook, right? So that doesn't mean that you don't need a lawyer. So if you have an online coaching business, if you're creating online courses, when do you really need a lawyer? When do you get a lawyer involved in your business? Well, I can tell you a couple of times that how do I put this? I can tell you a couple of times that you might need a lawyer, and it's not true that you don't need a lawyer, if that makes sense. Because so many times people will say something like, well, I don't need a lawyer yet because I've only made $10,000, or I don't need a lawyer yet because I haven't made $10,000. I've also heard I don't need a lawyer yet because I'm not profitable, right? And I want to just get that myth out of your mind, because it is not true that you can wait to get a lawyer or to get legal protection. I think what people are really talking about is just legal protection. It's not true that you wait until you make a certain amount of money. So I think rooted in this myth is maybe the idea that maybe it's a two-parter. Maybe there's part of it that people will say, I don't need a lawyer because I'm not making that much money, therefore the risk isn't that great. I don't know. Maybe there's another part of this that people think if I'm not making that much money, that somehow doesn't make me legally liable of some sort. And none of that is true, right? So it's very important to remember when it comes to legal stuff that, for one, you don't need to be paid by somebody in order for there to be a legal problem, right? So it could be a piece of free content that you put out. That's an issue. So we still want you to be legally protected. It doesn't also matter how profitable your business is or how much money you've made in terms of liability. So there's no court in the world that's going to look the other way because they'll say, well, she wasn't that profitable that year, right? That's not a thing. So nobody cares about that. If you did something wrong, you did something wrong. It doesn't matter how much money you made in your business. Now, if it's more of a financial consideration and you're well, the reason I'm saying I haven't made a lot of money is that I don't think this is an area where I want to invest a lot of money, then we need to chat. Because for one, legal stuff has to be part of the startup budget of your business, right? If you want to work with people online, if you want to start this kind of business, we need you to be legally protected. It doesn't mean that you have to have the moon and the stars. It doesn't mean that you have to pay tens of thousands of dollars or something like that. But it does have to be a healthy part of your startup budget. It's just a necessary an extremely important part of starting your own business. So it's not really so much an option as much a like how you're going to make it happen. You also don't need to work with a certain number of clients before you're responsible for, or before you really should get a lawyer or get legal protection for your business. So this is another rumor, a nasty little rumor that I see out there floating around all the time from people thinking, well, I've only worked with 2 people, or I've only worked with 2 people and I sort of know them, right? I hear that one a lot. That one doesn't matter either, because just like the money myth that I hear all the time, no one's going to look the other way because of a certain number of people that you've worked with, right? Essentially, with every client that you work with, you are essentially choosing to expose yourself to that amount of risk, right? I think as long as you understand what you're doing and you understand that just because you have 1 client, 3 clients, 5 clients, it doesn't matter, right? There's still legal risk and liability, potential liability exposure there, no matter how many people you're working with. That's up to you. I wouldn't recommend it, but that's up to you to decide how much of that risk you're willing to take on. It's also important for you to know when deciding when is the right time for you to get legal protection. That legal protection is not retroactive. So if you get stuff in place for your business, it's only going to apply from like that point moving forward. You're not going to be able to apply, your LLC to like former clients, or if you didn't have a former client sign a contract, just because you have a contract now, it's not going to apply to the thing you did back then, right? Part of the reason why we want to get legal protection in place sooner than later is so that you have it moving forward, right? We want to future-proof the business that you're trying to build. We want to plan to become the business that you want, not become it once you maybe get there, but you're not really going to get there unless you have this kind of legal protection in tow. But at the same time, I feel like it's also a rumor that you need like a million legal things, right? Sometimes I see other legal packages and stuff and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so overwhelming. It's stuff that might not ever come up, right? But it's really important that you focus on the foundation of legally protecting your business, no matter where you're at in the business building stages. So what's the foundation then? If I'm telling you that the right time to get a lawyer is probably now, right? In terms of when I say that, I mean getting some sort of legal support, some legal products in place. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need a lawyer on tap already, right? Based on where you're at in your business. But there are a few basic things that you should have in place by now. So you should have registered your business properly so that it's actually personally protecting you and offering some sort of personal liability protection. The second thing is that you also should get the proper kind of business insurance for your business based on what you're doing. And that's what's going to financially protect you and your business. And last but not least, I would encourage you to investigate and know what your scope of practice is, meaning what you're legally allowed to talk about, teach, offer, what topics can you talk about and how, based on your states and other states' laws and regulations around your scope, right? Because we can have all the legal stuff in the world and we can go to the best attorney in the world, but if we're out there doing things that are outside of our scope of practice, then it's not going to matter anyway. We need to safely operate our businesses online and have these basic modes of protection so that if and when you ever got sued or something happened, you have what you can in place to protect you the absolute best that you can. So there are a couple of things you can do when you're trying to work on a tighter budget and you're just starting out in your business and you're trying to figure out how can you get legal protection. So one thing is that you can sometimes work with your accountant or CPA to actually form or register your business. Sometimes they'll help you fill out the form. Sometimes they do it for you. They might just be able to answer a question, but that's always a good start. You can also contact your local bar association. So you should have a county bar association, then there's a statewide bar association. Many states have other types of like small business agencies, people who can help you get access to resources. So that's always a good place to start as well when you need a budget-friendly lawyer. And last but not least, you can always check out my DIY legal templates and my Ultimate Bundle program, because with my DIY legal templates, I'm hoping to offer you a faster and more affordable way to get contracts and website policies in place for your online coaching, course creating, or service providing business. So you can check out all my DIY legal templates, which are all available a la carte and are instantly downloadable below, as well as my Ultimate Bundle program, which gives you all 10 of my DIY legal templates, plus access to 35 on-demand video trainings, teaching you everything from how to properly form your business to safely operating within that scope of practice, learning how to protect your website and send out and build a safe email list, as well as how to protect your content with copyright and trademarks. So with that, the absolute best place to get started if you're learning how to legally protect your online business is with my free legal workshop. It's called 5 Steps to Legally Protect and Grow Your Online Business. In it, I teach you my 5-step strategy to protecting your business using legit contracts, protecting your website, forming your business properly, keeping copycats off your content, and so much more. You can watch my free legal workshop below by just clicking on the link in the description. Before you go, make sure you like this video if you found it at all helpful. Subscribe to my channel so you can come back and visit me here each week on YouTube, and leave me a comment below to let me know if this video was helpful. Until then, I'll see you next week.